Prime Minister Modi is a friend of mine, but they don't do very much business in terms of business with us.
Donald Trump's 25% tariff on Indian exports effective August 1st have threatened sectors like gems, pharmaceuticals, textiles and electronics. This move jeopardizes India's preferential trade status despite earlier talks. One that's set to impact two-way trade worth $129.2 billion. As a result, the tariffs could not just inflate costs but also delay shipments, which of course means bad news for American consumers as well. Expect greater pressure on various industries, potentially forcing companies like Apple to reconsider sourcing strategies.
Tariff is so high. They have one of the highest tariffs in the world. Now they're willing to cut it very substantially, but we'll see what happens. We're talking to India now. We'll see what happens. It doesn't matter too much whether we have a deal or whether we charge them a certain tariff. But you'll know at the end of this week. August 1st is a very big day for this country because money is going to pour into the United States like we've never seen before. Yes, ma'am.
In one of his latest posts, Trump has slammed India and Russia together, dubbing both as dead economies. This hours after announcing 25% tariff on India in addition to an unspecified penalty tariff for India purchasing Russian energy and arms. And not just that, to add insult to injury, Trump has announced sealing a trade deal with Pakistan, boasting that Washington will work with Islamabad to develop what Trump described as the South Asian nation's massive oil reserves. To quote the US President on Pakistan, "We have just concluded a deal with the country of Pakistan, whereby Pakistan and the United States will work together on developing their massive oil reserves. We are in the process of choosing the oil company that will lead this partnership. Who knows, maybe they'll be selling oil to India someday." It is not immediately clear what massive oil reserves in Pakistan that Donald Trump is referring to, but geopolitically, any US-backed project will threaten China and its strategic interests like CPEC. Not to forget, the Dragon's own investments in energy and transport infrastructure, particularly in Balochistan, a region affected by local insurgencies. Interestingly, in his social media post, the US President also wondered if Pakistan could sell oil to India someday. But there was no immediate reaction from Pakistan on the trade deal with the United States. Remember, Pakistan currently imports oil from the Middle East to meet its own energy demands. But there are reports about vast offshore deposits that are largely unexplored in the country, only due to Pakistan's lack of technical expertise and funds. The country has been trying to lure in investments to tap into these reserves. But remember, Trump's announcement arrived hours after his tirade about a 25% tariff on all Indian goods, plus an additional penalty for purchases of Russian military equipment and energy. In fact, in his social media post, Trump termed India's trade policies as most strenuous and obnoxious. It should be noted that as part of his maximum pressure campaign against Iran, the US President has sanctioned Indian companies and nationals as well. His latest action is part of his strategy against Iran's energy trade and shipping network. In an announcement by the US State Department, the US has imposed sanctions on 20 entities. In fact, it has identified 10 vessels as block property. Simultaneously, the US Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, has also designated more than 50 individuals and entities, more than 50 vessels that are part of the Iranian oil magnate Hossein Shamkhani have also been identified. In fact, 6 Indian companies have also featured in OFAC's designations over their alleged connections with the Shamkhani network. What's noteworthy is that Trump's tariffs have plunged India into a global trade war with uncertainty looming large. So much so, Trump has blamed India's trade deficit with the United States and its BRICS membership for the 25% tariffs and penalty. Why so? Because Donald Trump harbors the bias that the BRICS is anti-US and it aims to de-dollarize, meaning change the dollar's status as a global reserve currency. Now, even though Trump has threatened that the tariffs and penalty will kick in starting August 1st, US officials are reportedly to visit India on August 25th. They will continue discussions to hammer out an agreement at the earliest. The delay is also an indication that India is being a tough negotiator, since we have been demanding preferential access to the American market. A stance that's already been indicated by India's Commerce Ministry that categorically stated, and I quote, "The government attaches the importance to protecting and promoting the welfare of our farmers, entrepreneurs and MSMEs. The government will take all steps necessary to secure our national interest." According to US trade representatives, in 2024 alone, US goods trade with India amounted to about $129.2 billion, comprising $41.8 billion in US exports and $87.4 billion in imports. This resulting in a US goods trade deficit of approximately $45.7 billion with India. It's this trade deficit that Donald Trump wants to reduce. But will India comply?